Hey y'all, what's up? I'm Mimi, aka the Piscean Seer, and this is one of your daily collective messages. Like, and subscribe if you get anything out of this. Thank you so very much to those of you who do like, subscribe, and comment. It is always and forever going to be loved and appreciated. God, archangels, ancestors, ascended masters, cosmic guides, all beings of the highest and purest white light only, with the best interest of me and the collective at heart. You are always and forever welcome into my readings, okay? Please give my wonderful, fabulous, and amazing Piscean Seer family the best and most accurate information for them at this time. Hello, my beautiful lovers. I hope your day is going great, okay? So this is, welcome to any new subscribers, okay? Welcome back to my beautiful subscribers who are already here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you guys, okay? This is an Archangel Micheal message, and it comes with a story, okay? So one day I was doing Instacart, one night I was doing Instacart at Walmart, and I parked my basket outside of the cosmetics section because it was like it's always like hella traffic in there, and it's hard to get the basket around in there. So I just parked right there and I went in, and when I came out, something was missing from my basket from the order that I was doing, and I was like, shit, somebody took my whatever, because I don't remember exactly what it was. I was like, somebody took my whatever, and then this dude comes out of nowhere and he's like, oh, I was just playing, I took it out your basket, I was just kidding. I was just like, oh, okay, it's cool, I got a sense of humor or whatever. And then I don't know, he was weird. Like, he didn't really say nothing to me or whatever after that. He was just like, have a good night. And I was just like, okay. And I was so confused the whole time. I thought it was so weird. I was like, what the fuck was the point of that? I was like, he didn't get my number or nothing. I was like, and he really didn't fuck with me. So, like, what was the point of taking something out of my basket and being like, ha ha ha, I was just kidding and not recording it or nothing, right? And so I checked out, and the whole time I was just thinking it's so hard about this, right? And I just thought it was so strange. So I got to the car, and he pulls up to my car, and he's like, yo, what's up? And I was like, okay, I see. And so I go over there and I'm talking to him, and he like, oh, let me get your Instagram. And I was like, my Instagram? I thought that was weird too. Like, what kind of bitches do you talk to where they're like, oh, you can just have my Instagram? Or like, why the Instagram? I asked him why do you want my Instagram? I was like, I don't really go on Instagram like that. I was like, you want my number? Like, why you didn't just ask for my number? That's weird. So then we talked a little bit. We was texting or whatever, and he asked me if I wanted to smoke. So I'm like, cool. So we meet up to smoke, and we're just talking or whatever, smoking, just chilling. Shit's cool. He's just telling me about what he does and what he goes to school for and all of this shit. And then I don't know, he started acting weird, and I was telling him what I do, time a reader and all that. Like, it's 100 around here, okay? I'm telling him everything right now. So I'm telling him and shit. And he's just like, I don't know. He started acting weird. He was like, I'm tired. I'm tired. He just kept saying he was tired. And I was like, you don't have to keep saying you're tired. Like, you really don't have to do all of that. Nice, though. I was like, if you're tired, like, if you're done chilling, like, I can just go home. You don't have to drag it out. He was just like, yeah, I think I should, because I do got something to do in the morning. I'm like, all right, cool. And then he like, wait, hold on. What size bra you wear? Like, how big are they? And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? So now I'm really ready to go, right? And I was like, I don't know, He was like, you don't know? No, I don't know, Come on, let's wrap it up, because I'm already knowing I'm not gonna call you back because you don't want nothing, right? So he like, wait, give me a hug. So I give him a hug, and it was just like, it was so weird. It was just so awkward, and I just really didn't like it. I didn't like the vibes, and that was the point of me going to smoke, right? So I just went home, and then like maybe a week, almost 2 weeks went by, and I'm in the store doing the order again, and he pulls up on me with his basket like, what's up, And I was like, hi, how are you, And he was like, what the fuck did he say to me? He was like, oh, I wanted to talk to you. How come you didn't talk to me? And I was like, if you wanted to talk to me, then you should have just talked. You got my number, right? Like, you should have just talked to me. You should have just texted me or called me or something. Like, why are you acting like, Like, oh, I was waiting for you to call, right? So I immediately got the vibe like, oh, he lost my number, like, which just made me question, like, well, how many bitches are you talking to or hollering at this time to where you could lose my number? And so um he was like, unlock your phone real quick, like, let me see something, let me see something. And I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna unlock my phone. Like, if you don't have my number, then obviously you don't have my number. Like, that's too bad, so sad. You shouldn't have fucking lost it, right? And so I don't know. And then, so I got the channel message after this. Like, you could have met somebody at the store too, or you could be about to meet somebody at the store, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at the store. You could just be meeting somebody. He was a Gemini, okay? So that could be significant, okay? I'm a Pisces. That could also be significant, okay? Um, and then we got the King of Swords right here at the bottom of the deck, okay? So confirmation on that Gemini, Libra, Aquarius type of energy, okay? Um, so it says, if you're dating, trust your intuition if the vibes are off, okay? So, like, when the vibes got off, when the shit got weird, I got the fuck out of there, and I did not call him back because he just gave me the creeps. Like, I don't know what it was about him. He gave me the creeps. And he said he was studying to be a phlebotomist, okay? So you could be studying to be a phlebotomist, or you could have actually met somebody who does phlebotomy or some shit like that. I don't know. That could be significant. I don't know. They just told me to, like, tell you the story and to give you the notes, okay? So it says, if they're moving too fast, it was like he was so ready to go. Then all of a sudden, he wanted to touch all over me and, like, hug me and, fit, like, don't. You don't even know me. Like, why are you touching me like that? Like, you lucky I can fucking gave you a hug? So, like, be careful if they just trying to move too fast and obvious. And if they're obviously feigning interest in your life, because, like, when he was just like, oh, oh, you do readings and stuff like that. Oh, well, you better be careful, like, who are you following or some shit like that. Like, bitch, I am not a follower. Like, you just don't know me yet. Like, don't judge what the fuck I do. And he just, I don't know, he just acted like it was interesting, or like kind of like he didn't have no problem with it, but then he acted weird. So it's like his actions and the shit he was saying, like, wasn't matching up. So also be very aware of that. Like, if they're not, like, genuinely interested in what you have going on, or they kind of act weird just because they don't like what you do, then fuck them. Okay, let them go on. There's plenty of people out here who'll be like, oh, that's cool, and not care if I do it or not. And it's just like, if all these things are off and you feel like somebody give you the creeps, or they give you a weird feeling, then God didn't send them. Okay, that's what it says. It says God did not send them. Okay. So what's the overall energy, Archangel Michael? Oh no, he was so weird. Like, I did not call that dude back. Okay, we got equilibrium with find your balance. I think you're a very balanced energy. I don't think that anybody, like, I think that you would get the creeps too if you run into this type of energy. But Archangel Michael is just saying to make sure that you trust that. And then we got entitlement with check your prima donna. I feel like he's not saying to just be stuck up, or whatever, or don't talk to them, or don't give them a chance, because some people are just kind of so socially awkward at first, and then once you get to know them, they're cool. But it's like he never gave me the vibe or the energy that he could, like, eventually be cool. And honestly, I don't like how he ran up on me the second time and didn't just call me. That's weird to me. Like, he was like, oh, I seen you walk in here. Like, that's weird. Like that, and it gave me that Marvin energy from the Players Club, the creep that was outside of the club, because he was, like, obsessed with Diamond, and he, like, followed her home. Like, it gave me those vibes, and I really did not like that shit. So if you're not sensing that same balance within the other person that you're talking to, that you hold within yourself, then you need to be very, very careful, okay? If you don't feel them soul family vibes, just know that, like, that's not the energy for you to be trying to entertain. Yeah, this will keep you safe, okay? With the safety energy, like, be on the safe side, you know. I mean, I know I wasn't exactly safe by just meeting up with this dude that I just met today and just smoking, but like, you know, I mean, this is how I've always done things, okay? And so, you know, I'm not scared. I'm never scared, you know. Like, God goes everywhere with me that I go. Like, I'm mad protected, so I don't mind. Just like I'm very open, like real go with the flow. But like I don't know, I just didn't like the vibes. He didn't make me feel like you know I was in danger or whatever. But he just made me feel like eventually I'll be in danger or despair or something. Like I don't know. I didn't like it. I just didn't like that shit. Okay. What's going on with the person that they could meet on the outside of them? Okay, we got official person. So maybe you could be about to meet an official person, but I think he wants you to be very careful. Yeah, look, official person and lovers. Okay, so this is good. This is good. This is good things coming. Okay, a good lover coming to you, one that you don't necessarily have to worry about when it comes to like creep town. You know, I think. That he's saying that to say like yes, you could be expecting a lover, you could be expecting a new connection, but just don't be so blinded by the fact, you know, by all the lovey-dovey energy that where you're not being careful or you're not trusting your instincts or your intuition. Okay, even if you feel like, oh, it's been a long time since they said you know my divine counterpart was coming, like why they not here yet, and oh, is this him, you know, like don't get yourself overly excited just because of all of the love talk that be going on out here, you know, even though I'm about to do it too. Just make sure that you really follow your intuition in a major way so that you can run into the right person and not someone who's going to like disrupt your energy or your house, your stability, and have you like in an energy of poverty, you know, like is that? Mm-mm. And it says shed old skin, so I don't know. Maybe you could be someone who used to jump into things quickly. I know I definitely used to be someone who like just jump into things quickly. You know, I only used to have to spend like you know a little bit of time with them, and like I really didn't need to know everything, and I would just like jump into the thing and then end up being with like the worst person for years because I'm like a relationship person, you know. And so like now I don't do that anymore with the oracle. Now I really stop and I pause and I wait for the information. I trust what my body says, and I really like trust those little thoughts and nudges that I get now, because before I wasn't really aware of them and how they worked, and now I'm just like I laugh at myself all the time, you know, especially with dating, because I'm like, how was I not like aware of this shit before? Because it'd be the same vibes and energies that I used to feel, but now I can like put a label on them. Now I like understand them and why I feel them the way that I feel them in certain moments, you know. And I take that time to like review over what happened after I leave and like piece it all together ahead of time so that I don't so I don't like jump into anything too quickly, you know. And that's really something that I had to learn over time, and I think that the same is true for you, and that's why they got me telling you that. Okay. Yeah, we got broken arrow with embrace the energy of peace. So there is a very beautiful, peaceful connection coming into your life, though. Okay, I feel like you're about to find like a whole nother level of peace. We got the mirror guardian, which says take time to reflect, you know, which is kind of what I was just talking about when I was saying like now I look back and make the connections early before I get too deeply into things. I feel like when it comes to relationships of your past, you might need to do some reflection and check yourself in a way, you know, like what are your old habits or what are the things that you used to do in the past going into loving relationships or building, you know, even something as simple as friendships. Like, you know, was it too fast? You know, what are the things that you see that you used to like be doing wrong that used to get you into situations with certain types of people, and kind of like I want to say forgive yourself, but also just like take note of those things and try to do the opposite, and you'll be able to attract that official person type of energy much faster than you're already attracting them, okay? Yeah, we got protection guardian with drop your shields. I feel like once you look over your love life and you become more aware of what things you did that got you into situations where you weren't necessarily safe, whether the lack of safety was emotional or physical, you know, And look over those times and like forgive yourself, okay? Like you need to forgive yourself and you need to see yourself clearly in order to make sure that you're stepping into the right connections that are for you at this time, okay? Because like that one, whoever you're supposed to be dating or spending, your time with at the time, like there's always that person and like two other people that like you or that want to talk to you or that are like trying to get you, I mean. So I think it's very important that you use your discernment in the realm of dating at this time, if you're even dating, okay? We got animal guardian and trust your instincts, okay? So this is what he's really saying, it's really important that you trust your instincts right now, and you won't have to go through those same things that you went through with other people in the past, because this is autumn. It says release the old and rest, so it's like also rest your mind when it comes to like what type of people you attract, okay? Like you changed your energy and you are attracting a better type of person, even if a shitty person comes along every now and again, or a weird person and tries to like get you, you know what I mean? You still see things very clearly and you don't have to worry about attracting the same energy. Like you really are actively attracting your official person, your lover that you're actually supposed to be with and work with in this part of your journey. Yeah, we got Earth Mother with feel loved and comforted, okay? So somebody's coming in to make you feel a lot more loved and comforted. I think the whole creep situation could just represent like some of the situations that you've had with certain people that you've met, just out here in these streets, and that cycle coming to an end or coming to a close with more reflection on your love life and what is it about you that kind of like opens yourself up to that. Because I shouldn't have met up to smoke, because that's not really a date, right? I shouldn't have met up to smoke. It's not a date, and it kind of sends the wrong picture about me or what I'm with or what I'm about, right? And so that was kind of the lesson that I learned from that. Like it shouldn't have been, oh, you want to meet up to smoke. I already know that's a red flag, right? I mean, low key. But like I said, I'm not cool, I'm not uptight, and I didn't want to like just count him out just because he wanted to meet up and smoke. I feel like that's ridiculous. I'm the type of person who's like, hey, let's smoke. So I'm not gonna just like not date somebody because of that. But I think the point that Spirit was trying to make was just like, you're worth more than just meeting up and smoking. Like if y'all would have went on a date, then y'all could have had time to actually have conversations and not be in an environment where that person would feel comfortable being like, oh, how big are your tits? You know what I'm saying? And so just like pay attention to your specific patterns that you have when it comes to dating, is what Archangel Michael was just saying. What's Broken Arrow and Mirror Guardian? We got the Seer, okay? It says see beyond the current situation, okay? So shit might be like kind of rocky, kind of weird, kind of strange when it does come to your love life, but just see beyond this and continue to focus on yourself and love yourself, and call yourself on your own shit when it does come to dating or getting into relationships, and all of that work that you're putting into yourself on improving and being better for your actual official person that's supposed to have you or be with you, then you'll be ready for them. You'll be at a vibrational match with that person, and you will attract someone who works on themselves and looks within themselves and reflects over their past and all of these beautiful things, that you really, I think, need when it comes to dating. What's Mirror Guardian and Protection Guardian? We got Sky Father with trust in the unknown. And also he's saying like be open. Like that's why it's important for you to sort of do all of this reflection, so that you can open yourself up again, so you can feel safe again, so you can feel the acknowledgement of whatever things you were doing, or whatever things you were ignoring, or whatever things you know what I mean, you felt the strong feeling that you didn't like, but you didn't say nothing. You just went along with it because you wanted to be liked, or you wanted that person to be open to you, or whatever, like whatever the reasons, look over those things so you can open up. And when it comes to going into new situations or new things where everything's kind of unknown and you don't know how it's going to play out, you'll feel more comfortable because you know you got yourself in check and you've been giving yourself that love and taking care of yourself in the proper way. You know you're in alignment, right? You know you found your balance and that you're safe no matter what situation you're in, and you're a lot more comfortable and fun to be around. Okay, what's protection, guardian, and animal guardian? We got the peacekeeper with let go of the need to be right. Okay, so I don't know, maybe there are some some things in the past. Okay, like, I'm sorry to keep saying that, but this is what he's talking about. Okay, maybe there are some things, some places in the past, maybe some disagreements or situations that you had with people in your love life where you kind of were, you had to be right, or maybe you're a little bit stubborn, and you thought you were right about certain things, and you might need to like go in and address those things. Or what is it that makes you feel like you need to be right about everything? Like, no shade, I just, that's the vibe that I'm getting. Like, maybe you're kind of uncompromising at times when it comes to like what you need out of a relationship and what things you're willing to like do or entertain. And I feel like some of those things are going to be the very things that you're going to have to like compromise on. So maybe, like, that's why he's asking you to do this reflection when it does come to attracting your official person. What's animal guardian in autumn? We got shapeshifter. Okay, it says transform and unveil your gifts. Okay, so this is going to lead you into some sort of transformation. And also with this guardian angel energy, I feel like your guides really want you to know that like you're never alone. I feel like Archangel Michael spends quite a bit of time with you in your energy, and he wants you to transform the way that you think about dating, or the way that you think about like what's your type, or what is really truly meant for you. Because I feel like you've done a lot of changing, but you haven't really put much time or thought into like manifesting the specific characteristics of the lover that you want to attract. Okay, so maybe even putting some time into that, like what kind of dudes do you even like, or what kind of chicks do you like, like what I mean, like, but deeper than like their skin or how they look. I mean, I know that's like a big part because we want to be like sexually attracted to whoever our true partner is, right? But he's saying like go deeper, like you could be sort of like hung up on little superficial details, or you could be like someone who's easily turned off, you know what I mean? Because I'm just thinking about the story, and it's like as soon as he said like certain shit to me, I was just done. Like, I already knew that I wasn't finna call him. Like, I don't care. Like, you could be the official person, but you just counted yourself out. And you could be like that, you could be real cutthroat when it does come to dating or who's your type. But Archangel Michael's asking you to move beyond ancestral patterns when it comes to love. Like maybe your ancestors, felt like I need money. If you can't provide for my family, for me, then I don't want you. But it's like at the end of the day, it's up to each of us to have a part in providing, like maybe changing your ideas or what you think about love, or what love is supposed to be, or how love is supposed to happen, right? Let's see beyond, embrace the energy, and take time to reflect. We got the King of Cups, okay? So you could be a King of Cups, or you could just be attracting the perfect person for you, somebody who is extremely emotionally mature, and very like functional when it comes to communication and things like that. But you have to, like, if you want to attract that, you have to become that, right? You have to step into this like King or Queen of Cups energy and remain very emotionally intelligent and able to communicate and say what you want and what you don't want, because he's saying to switch the way that you're thinking about certain things, but he's also not telling you to like lower your standards or accept less just because it feels better. He's saying like you can have high standards for yourself and things that you want or expect from a lover, but you can't put a person on a list. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be something about a person that you don't necessarily like or agree with. That's with every person. I feel like every person has that. What's Mirror Guardian, Sky Father, and Protection Guardian? We got the Sun, okay? So I don't know. I feel like something's being brought to your attention, okay? Like I said, this is definitely something that you're attracting and it's going to make you very, very happy, okay? And when it comes to red flags in dating, I think that you're on top of it. You really are paying attention, right? But with the Four of Cups, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe you're in this place where you're just like, forget it, like I don't even want love. Okay, like I don't even want love right now. Like I'm just really truly not worried about it. And honestly, like that's when it jumps your ass from the back and holds you hostage, right? So I think that you need to be prepared and just do a little bit of reflection and inner work in order to prepare for this love that's coming in to like knock you over the head. What's Animal Guardian, Shapeshifter, and Autumn? We got the Eight of Pentacles, okay? So just this energy of you continuing to focus on your self-love and work on yourself, but like to know that this is coming in, like to specifically focus on the area of love, okay, with this inner work that you've been doing. Yeah, we got the Fool, okay? Because it's about to be time for you to take a leap of faith when it does come to love. And also, that was the point of me telling you the story because it's like I did not let that like distract me. Like I thought he was cute or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, like I can already see that we don't match, and it didn't even take like an hour. And so I'm just gonna move on, and I'm gonna continue to just be single and wait for what's actually for me. And I think that it's important for you to keep making those kind of calls in your life because you're not like the reason why you're doing that is because you intuitively feel this person, this official person, this lover you've been trying to attract coming in. Like it's working. But you just need to, I think, get a little bit more specific about what you want and what you're expecting, okay? What's the King of Cups and the Sun? We got the Nine of Wands, okay? So you could be so sick and tired of dating people and then having them just be kind of disappointing. Like there's just something, yeah, with the Five of Cups, okay? Like you could just be really disappointed with what you've seen and tired of like running into different people, and that's why there's that energy of just like, no, I'm good. Like I just won't even fucking date because ew, it's garbage out there. But I mean, it's not though. It's just everybody ain't garbage. You just have to be patient, and you don't have to necessarily go on a whole bunch of dates because I don't go on a whole bunch of dates. Okay, it's actually quite rare. I'm really kind of a hermit. I be in the house unless I'm out working. That's the only way you really gonna meet me unless you catch me out with my family doing family activities because my family loves doing family activities. Okay, unless you catch me out doing something like that, you're not gonna see me because I be in the house, unless you know me already. And so I feel like you don't have to like be out and dating all the time or have like this continuous, stream of blind dates or whatever that you're going on just to like attract the right person. Like it's better to just pull back from that type of energy and just focus on yourself and what it is that you truly want, narrow down and get busy focusing on something better, something that requires more of your attention. I think focusing on your creativity will help you attract love a lot faster than like, speed dating or whatever, like you don't have to date so many people, okay? What's the Sun and the Four of Cups? We got the Six of Pentacles. Yeah. So he's saying like just pull back from dating so much if you do date a lot, drop your shields, focus on, the areas of love where you still need healing, and whatever you need, whatever lover or however whatever vibration you start to match when it comes to love and how you give it and how you receive it, then that person that's perfect for you will be delivered sort of like on a platter to you, you know? Like you're gonna notice like how easy it is, you know? He's saying like love is not really that hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. Some lovers get off to a rough start because they're so much alike that they clash sometimes, right? But he's saying for the most part, it should be easy. It should feel very comfortable, you know, like talking to an old friend or somebody that you've known before, because it will be somebody that you've known before, okay? What's the Four of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles? You know, past life love energy, okay? Yeah, we got the Page of Pentacles. Like, and it says trust your instincts. I feel like if you just follow your intuition and focus on the things that are the most important to you in your life, you will find someone who sees this beautiful, great potential for this loving connection, you know what I mean, within you. They're gonna see it in you. And you have the best intuition ever, so of course you're going to know. Like you're going to know, okay? There's a feeling. There's a feeling, you know. It's like the opposite of the oh, you're a creep feeling, you know. It's like, oh, okay, oh, you're a serious option energy, you know. Like, oh, I see a lot of me in you, you know. It's like the more we talk, the more we have in common, or the more things that I see that I share with you, you know. We got the Empress energy right here and the Queen of Cups to match that King of Cups that already came out, you know. Like your the more you focus on creating what is important to you and being fertile and expressing that love and compassion and pouring that love and compassion into yourself, the easier it is for you to attract a lover who is, you know, like the best option with the Seven of Cups, and also who is not operating out of that place where they're always putting on an illusion or putting on a front or whatever, you know, in order to like impress you, or they're not like going straight for, you know, your goodies, or trying to take up and waste your time just to want nothing in the end. Like you don't have to worry about this. What's the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Wands and the Sun? We got don't seek anyone's approval. Also, when it comes to your love life, just don't be telling everybody about your love life, okay? Like, don't be telling people. Like, you really don't have to tell anyone, you know, oh, I went on a date, or I did this, or I did that, you know, like, just keep that shit to yourself, you know? Some people could be doing work on your love life. That's a real energy that I'm feeling, okay? It says, let my intuition always guide me when things seem unclear, you know, and that it is what it does. You have this amazing clarity, and your love life is no different. We see things. Even when we were younger, we would see the things, we would see the red flags, because you are powerful, right? You would see the thing, you would see the red flags, excuse me, and you would still jump into the thing, and now you're not in that place anymore, okay? So you just have to like learn to trust yourself, right? That's what all the self-love is about. Also, it's about building a relationship with yourself, starting to trust yourself more and trust the decisions that you make, and not feeling like you have to go on the outside of you or have other people to talk to you just to like, you know, confirm or deny what you think you should do. Like you really don't need that. Let your intuition be your guide, and know that you receive this ultimate clarity in all areas of your life. What's the Four of Cups, the Page of Pentacles? Yeah, you are on the right path. Like you're already doing everything right. And your love life is no different, you know. I mean, like of course there are things that we all could learn to fix or tweak when it does come to like the way that we date or the things that we expect from people. But I mean, I believe in like having no expectations, right? Because when you don't have expectations, then you don't run into that energy where you're like disappointed, or you're running into this energy of sadness, you know. And I think that he's making a big point with that, with me saying that, you know, he's just saying like drop your expectations and be open and just focus on loving yourself, and that's how you'll attract what is best for you, you know. Like it's not that you're dating a lot or whatever, if you even are dating a lot. It's not what you're doing, it's just what you expect. Like you might have too many expectations when it comes to your official person, especially when we like watch love readings and things like that, and they give us hints and they give us clues and we get excited and we look forward to that, and then that's how we end up kind of kind of getting into some other thing, not to mention like love movies and things like that. You might really be like, you might love romantic comedies and things like that. What's the Eight of Pentacles, the Empress, the Queen of Cups, and the Fool? We got seek higher education, okay? So that's all he's asking you to do, is to just seek higher education about yourself and how you operate in loving relationships, and to apply those things to your life in order to improve your life, your love life, and things like that. What's don't seek anyone's approval and let my intuition always guide me? You will be remembered, okay? So, I don't know. It doesn't give me like future energy. It gives me right now, look at this. You are getting married, okay? So your intuition is guiding you into a marriage. This is what I'm saying. But I feel like you also make a really great impression on people. That's what I'm getting from you will be remembered. I think you make a better impression on people, on lovers, on love interests than you think you do. And like maybe you worry that like you're not memorable when you meet certain people that you like or whatever, and it's not that. It's just that sometimes spirit blocks certain connections because it's just not the person for you, or it's just not the time for that person to be in your life. And even that could be disappointing when you don't get to talk to the person that you like or whatever. But spirit's just saying like trust them. Like you are following your intuition, and that's how they communicate through you. Trust them, trust what they're saying when they're talking about who you should date and who you shouldn't date, and the little feelings and nudges that they give you that be like, get up out of there. Like you don't need this person around. Like really follow that and trust that, and just know that like if you do plan on being someone who's going to get married in the future, that is absolutely going to happen for you. Like you're about to, like, he showed me like in Twilight where the werewolves implant on each other. And it's just like, in the last one, Jake finally explains like what it means to be imprinted on. And he's just like, it's not what you think it is. She was like, you think you have some sort of creepy wolf hold on my daughter. But he's just like, no, it's not that. He's like, I'm so much more than that. He's like, I'm a protector, a friend, somebody that she can come to, someone who will always basically have her back and care for her and take care of her throughout her entire life as long as I live. And that is the kind of love that you are attracting. Someone who you guys are going to like imprint on each other in that way and be a real team, a real love. That I don't think that you've ever really seen with that breaking ancestral patterns. I don't think that you've ever really witnessed a real true loving connection. You could be someone who's like witnessed a lot of drama, a lot of fighting in relationships and things like that. And even for a while you could have felt that like that's how things went, and gotten into like, different love relationships where, it was exciting at first and not so fun at the end. And so now I think you're breaking yourself of those kind of habits, breaking those patterns, and your ancestors are working very closely to help you to break those patterns in love so that you can attract this ultimate, like husband or wife or whatever, however you get down. Because I know some people, they just like to be together for the rest of their life, but they don't believe in marriage. But it doesn't make them like any less married, you know what I mean? Like they're still married, like in God's eyes. So I think you're really attracting someone who is about to be so perfect. Okay, once you're on the right path and seek higher education, it says, yes, we are near and somewhat visible angels, okay? And this is like a really angelically guided connection, and they're helping you a lot when it does come to this work that they're wanting you to put into yourself with all of this self-love, okay?
It says, set your intention. My intention is that all God's wishes for me come true, you know? And it's so funny because last night in my prayers, because I always say my prayers before I go to bed, you know, I was telling God that, like, you know, I put all my relationships in your hands. I tell him this all the time, you know. My loving relationships was kind of like the highlight of that, though, you know, like when it comes to like what relationship I'm supposed to enter into or who I'm supposed to be with, you know, like that's completely in God's hands. Like I'm just leaving it up to him, and I'm just being open to like what it comes. But I mean, like I said, it's like really rare. Like people don't really talk to me that much. Maybe I be moving too fast or whatever, but or like I don't know, maybe I look like, you know, I can't be approached or whatever, you know, but you know, it's really not that hard to talk to me. You just gotta come up and say hi, and I'll be all smiley and I'll talk to you because you know I'm friendly like that, and you could be that same way too. Like you could look really cute, or you know, just you could be attractive, and people could just feel like, you know, you don't want to talk to them just because you look good. You know, or like you're gonna be mean, or you're, you know, like they don't want to get shut down or to get like what is the word, okay, they don't want to get denied by you, I guess. They don't want you to turn them down. So I don't know. I think maybe you could be a little bit intimidating to people, but you're not going to be. It's intimidating to this official person, to this person like who you're really meant to be entertaining right now. Like they're not intimidated by you at all. They like you. Okay, we got ups and downs, okay? So it says, I see life as an incredible ride. I'm lucky to be on it. Yes, the ups and downs make me want to puke sometimes, but they're also what makes things fun and interesting. And when you look back, even puking on yourself makes for a good story, you know? So I feel like, you know, he's just saying, like, enjoy the ride, you know, and like, some dates are really bad, but some dates are just okay, and it just wasn't the person for you. And just enjoy all of it. You know what I mean? And when you look back at shit, you should have an understanding, and things should be a lot more funny than they are necessarily sad. You know, but I mean, I can't tell you how to feel about your past, but he's just saying like reflect lovingly over your life and the choices and decisions you've made and the situations that you've been in, because they all teach you something very valuable about the way that you love and the kind of love you're meant to receive. What's this? It says get centered. When it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center, you know? So just return to your center at this time, like he was saying. Pay a lot of attention to yourself and don't necessarily worry too much about dating, okay? Yeah, we got gratitude, okay? Try making a gratitude list or something like that. You don't have to write it down, but writing things down is very, very powerful, okay? I'm reading this book. It's called Vibrations of Manifestations. I told y'all I was going to tell y'all what I was reading later in that other video, okay? This is called Vibrations of Manifestations, and it's really good. I like the tips and the affirmations that it suggests and things like that, you know? But it was just saying to list three things that you're grateful for every day, no matter how small or how big. And that's a good way to like train yourself into constantly maintaining that vibration of gratitude, because that's really important to you attracting more things into your life, you know. And I think maybe you should try that with love, you know, like just taking a few days and listing a few things that you're grateful to have learned or to have experienced when it comes to your love life and the situations that you've been in the past. What's ups and downs and get centered? It says generosity. I give generously to those around me, no matter how much or how little I have. I know there is more than enough to go around, and that the key is allowed to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person in the stadium who doesn't do the wave, okay? So don't stop the flow, baby, okay? Keep going with the flow, and everything is going to turn out right as long as you have this positive way of thinking, you know? Like, you could be looking for this super official person, but you could have a very negative mentality about love or about what you deserve or about the kind of people that you attract, you know? You could still be saying things like, oh, I always, go for this type, or I always attract people who do this, or I always attract, Capricorns, or, like, don't say those types of things. They're kind of affirmations about what you attract and what you deserve, If you want to attract better, then you'll be like, I always attract people who take very good care of me emotionally. I always attract people who are good communicators. I always attract people who got a little bit of money and I don't have to pay for everything or worry about taking care of everything, I always attract people who work for God just like I do, I always attract people who look so good. I always attract, people who are just as attractive with me. I always attract people who are equally yoked with me. He's asking you to like retrain your brain and be very positive about love and about the way that you attract it, okay? It says, in the garden of my mind, I water the good thoughts and weed out the bad ones. I throw in forgiveness and empathy seeds by the handful if I want, and I take a lawnmower to that jealousy and resentment patch. I'm a pretty badass mind gardener. And then we got trust at the bottom of the deck, okay? And we got everyone's a teacher too, So like every single love situation that you've ever been in has been a teacher teaching you how to truly love yourself and how to have a relationship with yourself. And it's up to you to change your perspective and see those things that you've been through in that way. Like nobody can do that for you, not even a new lover who's perfect for you, Like he's saying these are realizations and epiphanies that you need to have on your own before you can attract this lover who's going to like turn that around and show you the opposite. This is interesting, okay? It's very interesting, okay? What's ups and downs, generosity, and get centered? We got death, okay? So putting to death to the old way that you used to think about your love and what you're meant to attract, like I've been saying this entire time, okay? Yeah, and trusting your guides along the way, knowing you're guided in every area of life, okay? What's death and guides? We got water, okay? So they're doing something with your emotions and the way that you feel about yourself and certain situations that you've been through in past lives and even past situations in this lifetime. I feel like they're sending you a lot of messages, a lot of support when it does come to your love life and what's going on and kind of like what they want you to focus on as far as shadow work goes. So take the time to like listen, okay, to sit in stillness, do some meditation, okay? You are a beautiful healer, and I think you're focused on the right things, and it's causing a lot of growth, and they're just wanting to like, throw in a few more ideas of what kinds of things you could stand to focus on right now. Okay. So we got the Ace of Cups and the Nine of Cups right here, okay? So it's no doubt you will be receiving that beautiful wish fulfillment energy when it comes to love. There is no more Three of Swords energy for you, or at least your guides want to avoid that at all costs because, a heartbreak, it can be amazing for us, right? To be quite honest, heartbreak can be amazing for us, and it can instigate all kinds of growth and get us to a place, with ourselves that we haven't been in years, right? But heartbreak is not necessarily necessary for ascension or for growth when it comes to love, and so they want to help you avoid that at all costs. And so, you could be getting rejected by certain people, or not wanting to call them back or talk to them or whatever, because you're being strongly divinely guided when it does come to your love life. What's the final thought on this though, Archangel Micheal? We got the Eight of Pentacles, okay? So, yeah. And then we got the Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck, the Death card, and the Queen of Wands. I feel like, like you're kicking back, like with all this work and this love that you're putting into yourself. You're kicking heartbreak's ass, and you're going to this more toward the place where you just look great and amazing, and you really embrace death and new beginnings. And they're saying like that's great, and they want you to do that same thing in your love life. It's like, sometimes with us, love is like completely different from everything else that we do. For some people, like, you get kind of like love crazy for a second, just at the thought or the excitement of having like a new person that could stick around and be in your life for like a pretty long time, or at least I know I do. And so it's like sometimes it can be very distracting, and it can keep you from focusing on what's really important when you're still getting the intuitive nudges and all of the signs and things that person ain't even the person. So Archangel Michael is just saying trust that and stay focused, okay? Stay focused. So it says, looks like you have a big goal in your binoculars. The Eight of Pentacles says the best way to reach it is via public transportation, but it's crossed out, and it says focus, discipline, and a supersized portion of determination. In other words, put some motivational jock rock on those headphones and start meat punching, board breaking, and whatever else gets you in the mood for all around ass kicking. Be it starting a new career or learning a new skill, you're committed to becoming the very best after version of you, and the universe is cheering you on. Just don't make it watch you drink raw eggs. It says, I am a champion and I conquer everything I touch. Whoops, didn't mean to conquer that entire niche. Okay. Oh no, didn't mean to conquer that entire quiche. So, I think I'm done. Okay. What was I getting from this? I'm sorry. I just had like a brain fart real quick. Okay. But I think he's saying like the focus, the discipline, the supersized portion of determination that you have toward your goals and toward your creative energies, and just toward giving yourself as much love as you can at this time. That is what is really truly attracting love. It's not all the dating or all of the lists or none of that. This love is coming in divine time, and so just keep yourself busy, focus on that to where you're not even missing it, because you're so in love with your career, so in love with yourself, so in love with your journey that you're not even noticing that anything is missing. That's when love comes in as an addition to make your life better. You know what I mean? Love should not come in as something that's meant to save you, or like it's not that kind of energy, is kind of what he's saying. Okay, so with that, I'm done. I hope you guys have a happy, fabulous, wonderful, and amazing day, that you got something that you need out of this, and I will see you later, my love. Bye.